but we do have a summary. I'm going to read the summary and start thinking about this question that I have. My question is, what will this text be about? And it says, sharks caused swimmers around the world to shake with fear. Learn more about these amazing predators in the photo-filled book. So now I need to question and think to myself, what is this text going to be about? Well, I know one is a nonfiction text and it's going to give me more information about sharks, but more importantly and more specifically, it's probably going to tell me about a lot of different times where sharks attacked a person or something, and that is why a lot of swimmers around the world fear it. So let's see, I did step 1 and step 2. My step 3 says read the table of contents to get clues about structure. How would the author teach me about sharks? So now I need to go to my table of contents. So Ms. Mejia is going to go ahead and flip the page over to my contents page. And I'm going to read through my contents. So I see chapter 1 is going to be should you be afraid? Chapter 2, why sharks attack? Chapter 3, you and sharks. So this is making me think that it's actually going to give me almost like a main idea and detail structure. So I'm going to be learning about whether or not I should be afraid of sharks. I'm going to be learning about the reasons why sharks attack, but I'm also going to be learning about maybe instances where I would be in contact with a shark and maybe what I should do in that event. All right, and let me go to my 4th step. Flip through and skim text for text features. What clues do the features give me about what the text will be about? So that means I'm just skimming through the text and I'm just flipping through the text to try and see if I have any additional information about what this text is going to be about. So I see my title. I see a picture. I also see a caption. Let's see. Okay. I also love that the author identifies vocabulary for me. I see a lot of photographs, maybe of different sharks, and it tells me different information about that shark. I see maybe some examples. The author is going to give us some examples of when a shark attacked someone, maybe why it happened. I also see another example here. So maybe one of the other text structures is going to be giving examples or descriptions of when these events happened. And again, some of the features that I'm looking at, a lot of photographs, a lot of subtitles, a lot of captions. Ms. Mejia is going to go ahead and stop right there. If you notice, team and family, as I was doing my previewing, I went ahead and skimmed the front cover to try to figure out what is my text going to be about. I went ahead and read the summary and looked for what would this text be about? Does it give me a little bit more information? I then went ahead and went to the table of context and thought about how would the author teach me about sharks? And my last step was actually flipping and skimming through the text features and thinking to myself, what clues do the features give me about what this text is going to be about? All right, so Ms. Mejia did that on her own. Now I want us to go ahead and practice using our Claudette Colvin book. So right now, if you don't have your book with you, Ms. Mejia is gonna give you 2 minutes. Run, or maybe walk really fast. Don't tell your parents I said run. Walk really fast and get your Claudette Colvin book. If you're like, Ms. Mejia, I am so sorry, I did not pick up my book. That is completely fine. You're gonna follow along with us. You have 2 minutes. That may be a minute and a half because I need you to move quickly. Go ahead and get your books. Once you have your books, pull it up to the screen so I know that you have it with you. And I know some of you guys definitely picked it up. Yep, I see Zaymari got it. Kevin is about to look for it. Jalea Coachman got it. Yep. You have about a minute left. Timothy, go get that book. I know you got it. Najee, go get that book. Blake, can you put in the chat for me if you got the book? If you don't have the book and you didn't pick it up, just put it in the chat for me so I know that you don't have it. Timothy has his book. Love it. Kevin, Zaymari, Jalea, love it. Darius, sweetie, I haven't seen your face today. Please make sure you turn on that camera. And Kevin, you as well, sweetie, unless you're getting your book, no worries. Let's see. You have about 45 seconds left. 45 seconds left. Ronika, can you put in the chat? Gotcha. I already see yours. Thank you, Kennedy. Thank you, Ronika. Blake, I'm waiting for you to write to me in the chat. I know Marley's about to get his. Do you have yours, sweetheart? We're starting in 20. Najee, you went and got a cup. That's not your book, sweetheart. And he froze. All right, we are going to go ahead and get started in 10, 9, 8. Marco, do you have your book, sweetie? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so Marquette, can you go ahead and unmute, sweetie? I know that you don't have your book with you, but that is completely fine. Can you read my step 1 for me, please? What is the first step we need to do to preview a nonfiction text?
Skim the front cover. What will the text be about?
Yep, so we're going to go ahead and do that step together. Guess what? We did some of this work yesterday during our class. So let's go ahead and take the next minute. If you have your book on hand, perfect. If you don't, Miss Mejia is going to make her screen even bigger for you, and you can just go ahead and look at the picture that I have on my screen. So I'm going to give you the next minute. Skim the front cover. What will this text be about? In 30 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and call my first student. Just by looking at the front cover, what will this text be about? Calvin and Justin, I'm going to ask you to turn your cameras on. If there's a reason why your camera is off, just write it to me in the chat. 10 more seconds, and I'm calling on my first student. What do you notice about the front cover? What is it telling us our text is going to be about? All right, Najee, I'm going to call on you, sweetie. Go ahead and unmute. Look at the cover of our text. What do you think this text is going to be about?
This text is going to be about boycotting.
How do you know?
Oh, just because I see a bus behind it.
Oh, maybe. I love that inference. Thank you so much. Julia, can you go ahead and unmute yourself? Based on the front cover, what do you think this text is going to be about?
I said it was going to be about justice for African Americans.
How do you know?
Because on the title, it says Fight for Justice. And it's the girl standing in front of a bus.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to go to one more person. Blake, can you go ahead and unmute yourself? Based on the front cover, what would this text be about?
Based on the front cover, I think it's going to be about like activists, or she's standing up for something for her race, or she's standing up for something that she takes pride in.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So we did step 1. And just from step 1, we can tell like, hey, this is actually probably going to talk about maybe the bus boycott. Why? Because we see a bus on the front cover. This is probably going to be talking about Claudette Colvin as an advocate. We're probably going to learn a little bit about the African American struggle. So we've learned so many things just by looking at the front cover. Now we're going to go ahead and go to our next step. The next step is read the summary or back blurb and look for reoccurring topics. What will this text be about? So Ms. Mejia is going to go ahead and read the back cover for us. And as Ms. Mejia is reading, you're going to be going in the chat and typing what new information do we learn about the text? What new information do we learn about the text? Ms. Mejia is going to go ahead and start reading in 3, 2, and 1. That moment came on March 2nd, 1955, when on her way home from school, 15-year-old Claudette Colvin was arrested for refusing to give up her seat to a white woman on a segregated city bus in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm going to stop right there. Think to yourself, what new information did you learn? Just think about it, and then Ms. Mejia is going to continue on in 30 seconds. $15 more seconds. Continuing. But instead of being celebrated as Rosa Parks was when she took a similar stand 9 months later, Claudette was shunned by her classmates and dismissed by community leaders. I'm actually going to stop right there really quickly, because this is actually pretty interesting from yesterday's lesson. We were saying that they had very similar experiences and they fought for very similar things. But now the author's letting me know that she wasn't celebrated as Rosa Parks was. And that almost brings a lot of questions to my mind. Why do we celebrate Rosa Parks, and why do we know about Rosa Parks' experience, but we don't know anything about Claudette Colvin? And for a lot of us, we shared yesterday, hey, Ms. Mejia, this is actually the first time I hear about her. Ms. Mejia is going to continue reading. Still, her brave, spontaneous act laid the groundwork for the Montgomery bus boycott. And a year later, she helped end that boycott by testifying as a key plaintiff in the landmark bus case, Broder versus Gale. Based on extensive interviews with Claudette Colvin and many others, Philip Hu's award-winning work is the first in-depth account of a major but little-known civil rights figure, a girl who dared to make an early and profound cry for justice. I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. I want you to spend the next minute in the chat. Based on the back blurb, what would this text be about? You have 1 minute. I should see 100% of us in the chat. What would this text be about? I see Jalea already typing. Yep, I knew it. She already submitted her response. Markel, sweetheart, I need you typing in the chat. I know Zamari's typing. I know that Ronika is about to get ready so she can be typing. Najee is about to get to it. You have 45 seconds. Based on the back blurb, what is this text going to be about? I have 22 students and I have 4 responses in the chat. You have 40 seconds left. Darius, I see your ceiling. I need you typing. You have 30 seconds left. Marco, I need you in the chat typing, and I'm missing a response from you. Blake, I'm missing a response from you. Marley, I'm missing a response from you. I'm calling on my first student in 20 seconds. Marcus, that looks really cool. Make sure you're also typing in the chat. Kennedy, no worries. Thank you for letting me know. You have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kevin, I'm going to go ahead and call on you because you mentioned something very, very important in the chat. Go ahead, sweetie. You can unmute.
What I said was probably the same thing that happened in Rosa Parks, but kind of different.
What makes you think that that was a little bit different?
Because she's a little bit younger than Rosa Parks, and like people probably don't understand. But what I mean by like understand is they wouldn't think that a kid would try to do the same thing.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I want you to hold on to that piece that piece that you mentioned about her being younger is so important, and I want you to hold on to that, okay, Calvin?